Hi Gemini, welcome to Carol's Universe Tarot readings from the heart. So this is your advice reading for the next 7 days. Universe Spirit, what is the advice that you have for Gemini over the next 7 days? 26th of June 2017 up until 2nd of July 2017. What is the advice that you have for Gemini, Sun, Moon and Rising signs for the next 7 days between 26th of June 2017 up until the 2nd of July 2000, whoopsie daisy, up until the 7th of July 2017, show me. Well, your advice is the Tower. So sometimes the advice is to tell the truth with the Tower, okay? For some of you guys, if we're reading it predictively, Gemini, it might be that there is a major shift coming in some way, shape or form this week. And it's scary reading the Tower for a lot of people because immediately it's all gloom, doom around the Tower, It's all like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Oh my God, destruction, despair, blah, blah. It doesn't always mean that. Sometimes it means something nice. Sometimes this can mean advice. There might be a surprise that's coming in. Something you didn't expect, all right? Because the Tarot card is also about things that we don't expect. Sometimes where we're just cruising along in life, it gives us a jolt. Something comes in out of the blue, we're like, oh shit. Sometimes this card is about the foundations that we build our lives on. It says, well, it's unstable, it needs to change. So there could be some changes coming in this week for some of you Geminis. It might be that they're unexpected, but it might be that it's a blessing in disguise. This card is definitely a blessing in disguise because whilst it might be happening, it might not sometimes not be very nice. It's saying, well, in the aftermath, what happens is you have then the ability to wipe the slate clean and start all over again. So everything really in the Tarot, in a way, goes back to the Fool energy, especially these major shift cards. Might be that this is a major week for some of you guys. It might be that there's a shift coming in. Might be that you need to tell, as an advice to you, if it's not predictive, it might be with the Tower card, where you need to get rid of a few things. You need to expel a few things from your life. You might need to open up about something here. This is also a card about being honest and telling the truth, because it's revelation. What's the reason for that? Well, we've got a Queen of Wands here showing up here, and the Eight of Pentacles. For some of you guys, it might be that there is a fire sign around you who's been working on you. You see this Eight of Pentacles here? It can be a fucker as a card at times. It really can. Because this can show where somebody's trying to not so much beat you down, but they're working on you. And as she's a Queen of Wands, she's very, very self-aware. So it might be that there's a person who's very self-aware that if they do a certain thing, they'll get a certain result. So they keep on doing it. Queen of Wands is a great character in the Tarot, don't get me wrong. I mean, my twin sister, we're Scorpios, but she often shows, because we've both got Aries in our chart, she often shows us this woman. And my twin sister, when she takes charge of a situation, she takes charge of it. She's a strong git. She really is. She's helped me out with a hell of a lot of stuff in my life. She's really good. She's a really strong woman. So this show often shows a really strong woman. This is somebody who takes charge, somebody who's fearless, somebody who'll, help you. She's ever so good. Queen of Wands is a wonderful card to get for somebody who can really give you some help, some really, it's not so much about advice. Part of it's advice with the Queen of Wands, but part of it is also somebody who does. They're a doer. Queen of Wands is always a doer within the Tarot. So this could be somebody who's giving you some form of help. Potentially it could be in work. If this is somebody, so it might be the advice card is there's going to be some major changes coming in. So anything that you've been kind of living through and it's uncomfortable, but you've just been putting up with it, it could be saying, well, this is the week that this changes. It's dispelled. It's finished. There's the old guard, the changing of the guard with the Tower card as your advice. And what's the reason for that? Could be because there's a person around you and she's a helpful character who's going to help you. Could be in a job, maybe. Eight of Pentacles represents working matters. Might be somebody who's giving you help in terms of work. I'm looking at how she's looking over at you, though. Gemini, you're not Taurus. You're not an Earth sign, but it doesn't matter. I get the impression that this is you here. Okay. So it could be somebody's giving you help in terms of a project, maybe. All right, and maybe finally something happens here. Finally, you break the stagnancy of the situation here because somebody came in and they gave you help on a project. Maybe I can see that she's looking over at you and she's watching you and she's giving you some careful guidance. So it might be that there's somebody who's coming in that's giving you guidance. The Tower energy, as I've said, could be to tell the truth. So it might be the advice is to tell the truth. Why is it to tell the truth? Well, it could be that you need to take charge. This can also be you. You need to take charge. It could be in terms of a working matter, or it could be that you need to take charge of a situation that hasn't changed. Eight of Pentacles can often show where a situation isn't changing. You keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. And you're not really getting any concise or clear results from whatever it is that you're putting your effort into. So it might be that you need to take charge. If this is you guys here, you need to take charge, I feel, with this Eight of Pentacles. This is the card of being proactive, and so is the Eight of Pentacles. But whereas the Queen of Wands gets things done because she wants results, this card says, well, you're doing things, but it's to no end. It's no avail. Eight of Pentacles isn't about getting results. Or getting, it's about working towards a goal. But if you get a Nine of Pentacles, you achieved it. If you get the Five of Pentacles, it might be that you're working for nothing, So this is kind of the interim card. It might be that you need to take charge of a situation that's been going round in circles. And that could be why, with the Tower card, the advice for you is to rip something apart, start all over again, tell the truth. If you're doing something and there's no change and there's no results, it might be, well, you need to stand in your power as the Queen of Wands does. You're self-aware enough now about this, Gemini. So you need to stand in your power. You need to take charge over a situation, perhaps with the Eight of Pentacles, that's not changing. And therefore, the advice is to tell the truth, to get everything out in the open, maybe with this Tower energy. Could be for some of you guys, the advice this week is the Tower. Sometimes this is a blow-up. Sometimes, I'm not saying there's going to be an argument, but sometimes this is a bit of a blow-up, yeah. Could be, has a Queen of Wands been working on you? Has somebody been working on you? Queen of Wands is so intelligent, so self-aware. It would be very easy for her to do this. Alright, so we can read this in a variety of ways. We're going to see what the Tower is about, though. What's the reason for the Tower showing up as the advice? I always put the cards that flick out back in because that's the way I was taught, okay? Because the universe is restructuring the cards, and if that same card comes out again, we know that it's very, very important. So why is the Tower showing up here? Why is the Tower showing up for Gemini as the advice showing me? Well, because of a King of Swords. Now, the King of Swords can easily be you. Alright. Now, the King of Swords, usually, if this is you, Gemini, we could read it either as you, fellow air sign, or someone who has the traits of a King of Swords. King of Swords is usually somebody who's fair, logical and balanced. This person gives you some really good wisdom. Alright? Now, if this is you, as the King of Swords, you would be very kind of intelligent, very mentally aware on a situation here. So it might be that your advice is the Tower. Because it could be, if this is you, I feel, with the King of Swords energy, you've come to a place of mental clarity, because this is what the King of Swords represents. It represents when you come to a place of complete and utter. Remember, kings take charge. So because the swords are his suit, the swords represent ideas, struggles, challenges, but also thought patterns, communication. And it might be the advice is to tell the truth. Why is that? Because maybe Gemini needs to communicate a situation clearly. So if this is you, and it can be because you're Gemini, so you can show as the King of Swords, maybe you need to communicate a situation clearly, because the Tower means to reveal something and it means to open up. And why do you need to open up? Because maybe with the King of Swords, you need to get closure on a situation. You need to communicate something clearly. Alright, with this King of Swords. If this is somebody around you, though, it might be that the advice is still to open up. It could be because of a King of Swords. Has somebody been emotionally detached? If it's love, has somebody kind of withheld their emotions from you? That's what the King of Swords does. He's not a romantic card. He's a logical card. So he's not romantic. He sees everything in facts and figures. So maybe the advice is to open up, possibly because somebody's quite detached. I think if this is somebody else, it might be that they're displaying traits of being quite emotionally distant, maybe with this King of Swords energy. But if this is you, I think that both cards are really saying, I mean, they're saying anyway, you need to communicate clearly, whether there's somebody that you feel is holding back on you a little bit potentially here, being a bit, especially emotionally distant. Or it could be that with the Tower card, you need to reveal something here. You need to open up. And that's because of the King of Swords. You need to be clear. You need to communicate clearly and concisely with that King of Swords energy here. Now, if this is another person, it might be that you've got a friend who's been, advising you, for example. Might be that you've been doing something over and over again with this individual here. And why you need to communicate something to this individual here could be because the Queen of Wands has been working on you. But in a good way. They've been advising you over a situation that might have been going around in circles. But it could also be maybe a love triangle. Maybe if there's another person involved, you need to reveal something and say something to that individual. It could also show a blowout about a situation with a King of Swords. Possibly there's another person here who's been sort of manipulative, I would say, potentially with this Eight of Pentacles. Because this can show somebody who's trying to wind you down, you know. Or they've been trying to wind down a situation. So it can be read in all sorts of ways. Let's have a look. Who is the Queen of Wands? Who is the Queen of Wands? Who is the Queen of Wands? Well, she's the Ten of Pentacles. Might be somebody in the workplace, for example. Could be somebody who's a manager. Or somebody who's at the top of her game. Okay? So for some of you guys, it might be a work-based situation, for example, because this represents for me somebody who's very successful. Could be a family person as well. Ten of Pentacles usually represents somebody in the family, somebody you're very close to. So we could read this many ways, I guess, Gemini, for your advice for the week. Could either be the advice is you need to open up. And that's because if you're the King of Swords, you need to communicate something clearly. Well, why do you need to open up and communicate something clearly here? Well, it could be because there's been a Queen of Wands here. Somebody could be a family member here, but it could also be maybe somebody within the workplace, a boss, that type of thing. Maybe they've been kind of mowing you down, beating you down with work or projects or something like that. And maybe what you need to say is, actually, I don't really, like the amount of work that you're giving to me. You know that I've already got so much work, or I don't really like the way that you're watching me, or you're making me feel. If you can't say that to her, maybe say it to somebody else potentially. Okay? Could also be, as I've said, maybe, just maybe, the advice is to, again, be honest. Tower card represents truth and honesty and revealing something that you've been holding down for a long time. And it could be because there's a person here that's been emotionally distant. Well, why have they been emotionally distant? It could be because there's the Queen of Wands here. Perhaps this person, Ten of Pentacles, maybe they've been meeting with this individual. This is the card of social interaction as well. Maybe they've been working on something here with this individual here. I'm just going to see what the Eight of Pentacles is about. What is the Eight of Pentacles about? What is the Eight of Pentacles about? The Empress. I've got a feeling that some of this might be work related, because the Empress often represents new projects as well, and projects that are being worked on. Alright, we've got the Queen of Wands here showing up here. The reason for the Tower. The advice being the Tower, but what's the reason for the advice being the Tower? It's because there's a person around you, maybe. Queen of Wands. For some of you guys, it might be you needing to take charge. Could be in terms of a working situation here. Well, why do you need to take charge of a working situation or a situation that's been going around in circles here? Possibly, if you're the Queen of Wands needing to take charge, it could be because of the Ten of Pentacles. Maybe the successful conclusion to a project, for example. Tends usually represent conclusions to matters, especially if it's something maybe to do with a family matter or a material matter here. And why is it that you need to take charge over this? Because maybe, just maybe, this is something to do with the Empress. Again, it's a card about success, fruition, abundance, gaining abundance. So some of you guys, it might just be that you need to take charge of a situation that needs concluding this week. Could be in a working matter. Could be if you run your own business, you really need to kind of get things going and get them concluded and finished off. I feel, though, that if you are, if this is a situation that's saying the advice is that you need to be open and honest, because you need to communicate clearly with the King of Swords. You know what you're about, you know who you are, and you need to communicate what your true feelings are on a situation. I think it's going to be that either it's because there's somebody maybe that you work with, could be beating you down. Why are they beating you down? Maybe they want something done. Maybe they want to get something done. Because this person can easily, I think, with this Eight of Pentacles, be winding you down. Well, why are they winding you down? Because of the Empress. Maybe they're in a position that they can do that. Maybe there's money at stake. Maybe there's a project that needs to be completed or started or something like that. But I think I just get the impression some of you guys might be feeling under pressure about a situation here. And I think that if you are feeling under pressure, whether it's in a working situation, a love situation, whatever it is this week, Gemini, I think that the main thing within this reading is telling you that you need to be clear. Whether this is you being clear, speaking clearly, you can speak clearly through both cards, Tower and King of Swords. Both cards can say that you can communicate clearly. I do feel that you guys need to communicate clearly in a situation here, no matter what the case. Okay, that is your reading, your week ahead advice reading for the week commencing 26th of June for the next 7 days, and I will see you guys on your triple crosses. Take care.